Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Wedding Ceremony Podcast. We talk about anything and everything that has to do with wedding ceremonies. My name is Clint Hufton. With me is a gentleman that lights up the room every time he enters, the one and only J.P. Reynolds.
Thank you for that, Clint. I'm not sure if that's true, but as you can see, all you have to do is begin to speak and I start laughing. Please take that as a compliment and not as an insult.
If you're joining us for the first time, you should know that the reason we have the Wedding Ceremony Podcast is because JP and I are both wedding officiants. We've been doing it for a long time. As you in the wedding industry know, every wedding is unique and it has its own idiosyncrasies and quirks and so on. And so we always have stuff to talk about. Before we get into that, you should know that JP is an accomplished author. His books are in the Kindle store and in the Amazon store. He is also a communications expert. Thebusinessofconfidence.com is that website. His wedding website is jprweddings.com. Mine is just by name, CLINTHUFFT.com for all of the things that I do. JP, have you ever mailed in a marriage license without signing it?
Okay, what I love is did not see that question coming. Folks need to understand before we hop on the podcast is like, you have something, do you have something? Well, I got this. I can honestly say that I have made mistakes signing a license. However, I have always signed the license.
A long time ago, at the very beginning of my career as a wedding officiant, I got a license returned to me. No, it was returned. This is even more embarrassing. It was returned to the couple. And they reached out to me and said, your part isn't filled in at all. I drove over to their house, which was not nearby, because I figured it's my mistake. And also, there's a fee to resubmit the license, the affidavit or whatever they call it. And so, of course, I paid that. But it was so annoying to me that I did that. The only saving grace, or I guess excuse, is that it was at the very beginning. It was at the very beginning. And so we all make what I call rookie mistakes. Okay, fine. Until this last Sunday.
Oh,
It has a happy ending, but it freaked me out. So I did a wedding on Saturday. I take the license. Normally, I sign it immediately. I fill out everything and I sign it immediately when the ceremony is done, after I say thank you to everybody and blah, blah, blah. But sometimes I don't even do that. I immediately go off to some quiet place where I can sign the license. This particular wedding did not have anything nearby. We were outside. We were in between rows of trees, and the building and everything was up the hill. And there wasn't anything where I could immediately do that. Plus, there was something that happened in the ceremony, nothing dramatic, but it's something that happened. My mind was stuck on it. I'll get to that in a second. So I just forgot. It's time to go. And I just went straight to my car and I left.
I'm sorry, with the license, though.
With the license, of course. Yeah, I have the license. Then I come home, I scan every single one of the marriage licenses that I sign just as a backup. And that has come in handy over the years. I scanned it, I put it in the envelope. It's now Sunday. I can't mail it until Monday. I seal it, I put the stamps, I put everything, I'm ready to go. And I'm thinking, first thing Monday morning, I am going to mail this, and then I don't have to think about it ever again. Monday morning at about 3 a.m, I wake up. You probably go through this where every now and then you wake up and you just kind of have to hang around and think about stuff until you go back to sleep. All of a sudden, it hit me clear as day. Did I sign that license? Because I don't remember doing that. And then I thought, holy crap, I already sealed what am I going to do? And then I realized I scan every license. So I went back first thing in the morning when I was starting my day. I opened up my computer. I went to that license, and sure enough, my section is blank. And there's the envelope right there. So I was able to, I don't know if you ever tried to open a sealed clerk recorder's envelope, but they don't mess around. It's really sealed. I'm gradually opening up the envelope. I pull it out. Sure enough, my space is completely blank. Wow. I fill it in. The wave of relief that came over me that I was able to make this right before I sent in the license was staggering. I mean, seriously, I was elated. I was euphoric that I was able to not be embarrassed by this thing going in and having not been signed, which made me think, I wonder if JP's ever gone through this.
Not in that particular manner, but I've had issues with incorrectly filling out the license, and I'm hyper nervous about signing a marriage license. Just hyper nervous. And I will no longer sign the license at the venue because I just get too distracted.
Oh, no kidding.
There's just too much going on. I will take the license with me. I will bring it home. Now I really sound odd, but a couple of times I signed at the venue and somebody comes up and taps me on the shoulder, the signature or whatever goes outside the box.
We need to
You know,
explain that. We need to explain that. Those of you who have never had to do this, or you're perhaps outside of the state of California, it's sold county by county. The license is the same license in the entire state, but every county has their own idiosyncrasies. And some counties are a little more stickler to.
well, I think, Clint, it's the individual registrar taking the license. I mean,
Right.
every county says signature information must be contained within the box.
We don't just sign it. We also have to put
Yeah.
in a bunch of information on where it
Right.
took place and why are we authorized to sign it and what's our
Address,
mailing
well,
address and all that
address
stuff.
and all that. And
But
so
the
what I'm saying is,
signature, that gets kind of fancy. And yeah, that can
well,
be
but all of that information needs to be contained within the box. And what I've had
right.
happen is I'm filling it out and somebody comes over and slaps me. That was a great ceremony. And whatever box I'm filling in, it goes, hmm. All right. So it's like, I'm just going to take this baby and go with me. Now, it is interesting that you bring this topic up because I checked my email and I have waiting for me an email from a bride. I forget when I've done her wedding. It was recent meaning within the last, let's say 6 months, 6 weeks, I guess. And I just saw the headline, which was something about she received a notice that the license expired. And so she's worried, and I've got to reassure her because if a couple are very well organized, the license, for people to know, here in California is valid for 90 days. And within that 90-day period, you are legally permitted to use that license to get married. If they got their license early in that 90-day period, got married in the last few weeks of that 90-day period, the county will automatically send a notice saying it's about to expire, it has expired, or whatever. I have made mistakes on the marriage license. If it's my mistake, it's returned to me. I feel obligated, so I have gone in person to the office.
Okay.
If I am responsible for the mistake, if it was the drunken best man who made the mistake, well, that's their problem then.
I get 2 emails from past clients. Either one, like what you received, like they're freaking out that their marriage license has expired, which means they're not legally married, but that isn't what happened. It's
Right.
it's generated automatically by the computers at the clerk recorder's office, just so you know you're running out of time. And then I always reassure them that no, it's filed, it's all good. The other one that I get is, where are my certified copies? Because if you've never had to deal with a marriage license before, the license gets sent in, that you'll never see that again. It's filed, it's gone. And so the
Right.
only way that the couple can prove to people that they're legally married is they have to have certified copies of the marriage license. They think that that's like automatic. That just magically happens. But
Right.
in California, it doesn't work like that. I mean, I think that in other states, it does kind of work like that, but in California, it doesn't. And so I have to, and also where they bought it. That's one of the reasons that I scan every license to see where they bought the license, because each county has a different time span in regard certified copies and that kind of stuff. And I'll get that every now and then. Then I have to say, in Los Angeles County, you get to pre-order the certified copies. And so that's like an automatic thing. All the other counties, no, you have to go back in and buy certified copies or mail in a form to purchase certified copies through the mail. And I got to walk them through all of that depending upon what county they bought their license
Well,
in.
you see, I don't know if you do this, but I will mail, like yourself, I will return the marriage license on the first business day
Yep.
after the wedding.
Yep.
I now return it. One time the license did get lost. And it
Oh,
was like
just got lost in the mail.
it
Lost.
got, who knows where it got lost, but it
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what I now do is I return every license via certified mail.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I now, so that I have proof that I returned the license by certified mail and I have a tracking number. I also then send them a snail mail letter and I thank them for the honor of officiating their wedding. I give them a photocopy of their license. That photocopy, they can use a photocopy of their license to do anything with insurance. So
Oh,
they can begin immediately doing anything with insurance. In LA County, they can, at the time, as you know, when they get their license, they can pre-order a certified copy of their license. In Orange County, other counties, they have to wait 2 to 3 weeks before ordering that copy. I remind them of the details. I remind them what they can expect or what they need to do. If it's in a county where they have to order the license, That county has a sheet with information. I give them that sheet of paper. And I do that all because of past experiences with either a license being lost somewhere or just to reduce the number of emails with the questions of where's my certified copy? So this just takes care of all of that.
When I talk to every couple, whether they hire me or they don't, in that initial conversation, we have a whole conversation about the marriage license in
Right.
order to kind of prep them for all of that. And then I have a one sheet that has all the information about the marriage license, and I email that to them, and also just to kind of equip them for the journey that they're about to embark on. Now, I need to explain to you why I was distracted of what happened during the ceremony this last Saturday.
Are you sure you need to explain that to me?
Oh, I do. I have to, because I became aware how fragile I am. I'm so
Can't
fragile.
even look at you. I cannot look at you. Stop. You were fragile in what way? I never would use the word fragile with Clint Huff.
Well, when I explain what happened and then my reaction to it, you will realize I am just a quivering little child in the corner. That's pretty much the way I am. All right. So, we've been doing this for a long time, and you would think that we pretty much have it down, and we know all the little things that need to happen in order for things to go well and blah, blah, blah. All right. So the event planner, after the rehearsal, which I rarely attend, said it's important to the bride that the wedding party will line up in the front like typical, but then when everybody is seated, you excuse them and they're going to be seated as well. I said, okay, that sounds great.
And I'm sorry, Clint, just to clarify, you
Mhm.
went to the rehearsal?
I did not.
Yeah, okay.
No, this is an email that she sent me, and I said, sure,
Okay.
we'll do, no problem. I can't really give you a reason or an excuse as to why this was an issue for me. But anyway, they line up, the couple gets up, the bridesmaids, we've talked through everything, they straighten the veil, the blah, 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 blah. And then I look at the guests and I say, you may be seated. And I do this. I think hand signals are really good for people in the back row. So, you may be seated. And then there's that pause, which I love, which is everybody just settling in and there's nothing really going on. And then I look at the maid of honor and she's straightened the dress. And I said, hey, really good job. Then I start talking quietly to the couple, which I always do, just to make sure they're breathing and everything's great. And then we begin the ceremony. The wedding party is still up there with me. And they just stayed there during the whole ceremony. In a way, that was actually a really good thing, because this couple decided they wanted to give flowers to their parents. And so they left and went to the bride's parents, and they went over to the groom's parents, and they come back to me. Fortunately, the bridesmaids were right there to re-straighten the train because it was big and full and so on. But in that process, her veil, which is just a comb in her hair, her veil came out. And it happened while I was distracted for a second. I was looking to this way, and then the veil came out, and I look and I see what's going on. And I said, well, it looks like the party has started. And then they fixed it. They just came up and put it back into her hair and fluffed it. And I looked at them and I said, you handled that really well. That was great. If they were not there, if they were in the second row, which is where they were supposed to be seated, that whole thing would have been not as good as it was. And so I didn't think it was that big of a deal. But then after the ceremony, I say thank you to the couple, and I give my paperwork to whatever the couple's supposed to keep. I give it to the event planner. The event planner says to me, they didn't sit down. And I said, yeah, I know. I thought that when I told everybody else to be seated, that was their cue, but they stayed there. Fortunately, they were there to help the bride when she needed it. Well, that stuck with me, because a specific email went to me before the wedding day saying, will you please ask the wedding party to be seated? And I said, yes. And then when I sat everybody and they didn't move, I was already moving on in my mind. I'll be honest with you. I thought, well, I guess they're here anyway. So I just moved on, and the wedding party stayed up there for the entire ceremony. I said to the event planner, is that going to be a thing? And she said, I don't know. We'll see. Well, of course, that's what stuck with me. The whole ride home, I thought, oh, that's going to be a thing, isn't it? That's going to be a, why did Reverend Clint not do what he was supposed to do? That's going to be a thing. That's the way my mind works. One little tiny little thing that didn't go quite as planned, and I carry that with me the whole ride home, thinking, oh man, this thing is going to happen, and these people are going to say this, and da da da. That's the way I react if one little tiny thing doesn't go the way it was supposed to go.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say that, Clint. I mean, you ruined their wedding.
I
Okay. You ruined, I mean, they have spent years planning for this day, and you, being you, arrive at the scene and you ruin the entire day. You have ruined memories, you have ruined photos, video, money. Wait, this is what they will say to their children, their great grand. It is like it's heart. My heart goes out to this couple, and there's no way that you can repair it. The damage is done. I mean, hopefully, should they get married again, they'll find somebody who won't make this mistake and ruin their wedding.
Well, I've already gone on to Indeed and submitted my resume, and I'm going into a completely different line of work. It's just that's it for me. I'm done with that.
You're going into
Yeah,
funerals. You're going into
I will
funerals.
never be allowed back into the club. It's the way it works.
Well, okay.
Oh,
So,
and one more thing, JP. I knew that if I came to you, you would be sensitive and and empathetic. I knew that I was talking to the right person to unburden my soul.
Clint, it's you know, I'm glad that we have a working understanding. Maybe I was exaggerating. Maybe I was just JKing you. You never know how a couple will react to a seemingly minor or mid-sized change because people are, let us all hold hands now and remind ourselves, people are out of their mind leading up to the wedding, on the day of the wedding, and you just never know. However, because of the comb going out of the hair, it proved beneficial that everybody was standing up there.
Right.
So the bride and by extension, then the groom really can't complain because the fact that her posse was there allowed her to retrieve the veil, etc. Had the veil not popped out of her head, maybe her reaction would have been different. But as it turns out, all's well that ends well.
I hope so. I do always send a follow-up email.
Listen, no, I can tell you right now.
Oh, you can?
I can tell you. I promise you. If you have not heard from them by now, everything is fine.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I always send a follow-up email saying, thank you very much for letting me be your officiant. I loved the word that you chose and how you looked at each other. And I think it was magnificent. And I wish you all blessings and blah, blah, blah. And I send that to them, to every single couple, in hopes that I'll get something back that is complimentary to me, because that's what I use in my marketing. So in this particular case, I thought if they don't respond, because I knew they weren't going on a honeymoon right away, if they don't respond, then they're not happy or she's not happy.
Oh, no.
No, that's what was playing in my head.
We know that's all make believe. We know that's you just tormenting yourself instead of inviting me to torment you.
Both are fine. I did get an email back saying thank you for everything you did.
Yeah, but I mean, here's the thing. People have things other to do other than to respond to you or to me.
No, they don't. No, they don't understand. We are the end all be all. And so step up. Let's go.
I'm emotionally drained. I had heart surgery a couple of years ago. I still have AFib. I swear this podcast continues to give me AFib. I am like, fine when I thought podcast starts. Then by the end, it's like, my God, here's my digitalis.
That's it. That's all for today.
And may I point out to everybody, this is the man who says to me, oh, I just have something to say. It'll only be like 2 minutes. And props to me for recognizing, and I said to you, there is no such thing as a 2-minute little blurb that you want to run by us. So
I did think the marriage license thing was only going to be a couple of minutes. And to be fair, it was kind of, but this whole second half, that took on a life of its own. And so,
I mean, the second half in which you told the story of how you ruined the bride's wedding day. That's what you're talking about? Yes. Okay.
I'm going to get under the desk now. You don't mind if I just curl up in a fetal position under the desk now, do you?
Please, bro.
We do have a special guest for the next episode. That's going to be exciting. It's a gentleman named Randy Court who runs an entertainment company, and he's been doing it forever. He's got stories to tell. So that's my teaser for the next episode. JP, tell everybody how they get in touch with you.
If anybody, after what I've said, I don't think anybody wants to really
comfort and solace, JP.
Right. All right. My website is jprweddings.com, and it's JP at jprweddings.com. That's all you need to know.
Brilliant. And remember that he does have excellent books in the Amazon store and the Kindle store in Amazon about wedding ceremonies, both performing them and preparing for them. For his communications coaching, it's thebusinessofconfidence.com. My website is just my name, Clint Huff, CLINTHUFFT.com, for all of the things that I do. That's it for this episode of the Wedding Ceremony Podcast. This is Clint, and on behalf of JP, we will see you next time.